Parshat Shemot. Yesterday we saw Perek Aleph. Today we like to see chapter 2. We learned about the coming of the first generation of Bnei Yaakov to Egypt and their departure, their passing away. We learned how the second generation grew and became so great in number, yet they're suffering so much and the suffering is increasing. And we read about the tremendous courage of the Miyaldot, their role, their execution. Yet we saw no particular personality of the Hebrews standing out. Okay? Nechama Leibovich, in her great analysis of Chumash Shemot, we note that in spite of the difficulties, we don't see anyone taking leadership. We don't see anyone leading the Jewish people to be freed of their torturing, to free them of the suppression that they're going through. We don't see any heroes in the story in Perek Aleph. Which brings us to Perek Bet. And now we see the development of a new situation, the coming of a hero, the coming of a leader. First, let's read about their Abba and his Abba and Ima. Vayelech ish mi Beit Levi, vayikach et bat Levi. By the way, it could very well be that Levi is different than all the other sons of Yaakov, and that maybe they were not tasting this suppression, they were not tasting this torturing, and they were free of this. We can prove that later on. But here we see mobility. At a time when Egyptians have the right to murder and throw any new son into the, in Hebrew, the Yaor, and later called the Nilus, okay? When there's a time here when the situation is just so bad, we hear about mobility. A man from Beit Levi, he takes a daughter from Levi. What's going on? No names. Why is he taking her? To where is he taking her? Rather, we've learned in the Chumash that the verb vayikach often means in marriage. To take in marriage. To take means to acquire, to make a kinyan, an acquisition. So why are we told about this marriage? And who is this man? And why are their names not mentioned? Answer. We're about to learn about the upcoming formation of the nation of Israel, Klal Yisrael. And we're talking about Klal matters, the national matters. The individual names are less important. The individual names have less significance than talking about the Klal. And therefore this Ish is called an Ish without his name. And this woman is a Bat Levi. Okay? The Maral of Prague. Okay? In his sefer called Gvurot Hashem, the powers of God, which describes philosophically, intellectually, all the events from the time of Avram Avinu until we come out of Mitzrayim and so on and so forth. This amazing sefer is 67 or even 70 chapters long. And he explains that since now we're going to be talking about the appearance of a leader, a great leader, Klal Yisrael's leader, even the making of this leader, we don't know who the names are. We're not dealing with davar prati, an individual, private matter. We're dealing with the appearance of a klal, the national collective. We're getting to that. Chazal explain that this is not a time that there are new marriages, because people are afraid to bring children into the world because of the decree we learned about. And therefore, here we're talking about a remarriage, Chazal explain. The father called Amram, and the former wife called Yocheved were married but separated because of the decree. And they have two children. A young lady called Miriam, and a young man called Aharon. And here, according to Chazal, Miriam is full of the faculties of faith. she convinces her parents, what? You're not together? You're not bringing children? You're keeping the decree of Paro? That's terrible. She convinces her parents to get back together. Pasuk bet, Vatar Ha'isha, wow, the woman. This woman that's going to bring the Savior of Israel, as we're going to see. I told you what's going to happen later in the chapter. I probably broke the suspense for some. I spoiled. You read this before. Okay. Vatara Ha'isha. Wow. Look at the emphasis. Ha'isha, the woman. Vateled bein Mazal Tov. Now, I just want to stop. The Gestapo of then, the Egyptian police, are looking for Hebrew women giving birth. And they know, if she's pregnant, I'll be back after 9 months, and they want to kill the boys that are being born. So here, the Lechora, they know about her pregnancy. Vatere oto kitofu, vatitzbeneu shlosha yirachim. This tov is undefined in the pasuk, and the tov is usually a general connotation for godliness. The tov of godliness. There was apparently a special aura, light, upon this newborn baby, that anyone that observed the baby could see this tov eloki, this goodness. In Chazal, there's mentioning that he was born even circumcised. Okay? But anything and everything related to this new infant, as we will see, will be above natural, above nature, above the usual. Now, vatetzpeneu, what's that part of the Seder night that comes out of this word? Tzafun. What is tzafun? Hidden. What is hidden on the Seder night? The afikoman. They hide him. Shlosha Yerachim. Yareach is the moon. 3 months. And we ask ourselves, what's the importance of mentioning 3 months? Why 3? Why can't they hide him 4 months? Apparently, the mother gave birth to the baby after 6 months. An early delivery. The police or the authorities are only going to be looking and expecting a birth after 9 months. This gives them breathing time to hide the newborn baby for 3 months. Okay? For 3 months. So the idea that the tov on him may have as well been physically, that in spite of the fact that he was premature, born after 6 months, his body was complete, his bone formation was complete, his hair, his nails, everything appeared, in spite of the fact that the medical reports say, you read the Reader's Digest, right? The Reader's Digest books are saying to you that usually after 6 months, all these signs do not appear, not hair, not nails, the bone formation is a little, very weak, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, I just want to say the following. Who is one of the 70 that came down to Mitzrayim? What is her name? Yochevet. She was born as the brothers of Yosef arrived when they came down to Mitzrayim. Or actually, did she come down? No, right. That's when all the sons came down. Now we know we're going to be in Mitzrayim Redu, Reish Dalid Vav, 210 years. 210 years. If we're going to be there 210 years, then she, Rashi brings a midrash, is right now 130 years old. The mother, Yochevet, is 130. If the upcoming baby is born now, don't tell me his name. I want it to be a surprise. And we know that when he will be chosen to be the leader at the age of
40.
That's correct, 80 years old. So 80, okay, plus and the mother is 130. That will give us from 130, 80 years, will give us the sum total of 210 years. So she was pregnant and giving birth at the age of 113. And she is called a Bat Shel Levi. Levi will be the tribe that'll be connected, attached to spiritual, divine matters in the world. That'll be their expertise, Levi. They're accompanying God, Lilavot. Okay? Pasuk Gimel. Velo yachla od hatzfino. Why can't she hide the baby anymore?
Because they get to check 9 months.
9 months have passed. The baby now, according to this, is how old? 3 months old. Vatikach lo tevat gomer. Vatachmara v'chemar uvazavat. They make a what do they call it in English? A basket, and it has chemar and zefet. There is bidud. There's insulation in it called zefet, which is tar. Doesn't smell too good, does it? So the zefet is on the outside, and Rashi says, and it's plastered on the inside because they don't want the baby to smell this terrible smell as poisonous gases, doesn't it? Tar. I think tar is poisonous gases as well. Vatasem bata yeled. They put the yeled. A what? A yeled? I thought the baby's 3 months old. Question. Vatasem basuf asfat hayaor. What is this? Swimming lessons? I don't understand. At the edge of the river, inside the basket, they put the baby there. What's going on here? What are they doing this for? Answer? Why are they putting the baby inside the basket at the edge of the river?
Protect it.
To protect. I'm not going to put my baby 3 months old at the edge of the river on a basket. I'm going to leave him in the crib inside the room.
But the KGB was coming for
the KGB is looking for them. But isn't this like suicide? How do you understand this?
Because according to the Midrash, Miriam knew that he's going to be the savior of the... So they had some faith, I think.
Faith. My dear friends, even according to the Pshat, we have a no-choice situation, apparently. Like Chaim said, the authorities will arrive and they're going to kill him. What can you do? You can hide the baby. The reeds are over there at the edge of the river. Maybe they won't see him. Maybe there's going to be hashgacha pratit. This special providence, supervision of God. Maybe. I mean, we have to try it. That apparently is their thinking, that we have to try it. Now, I want some dates. I know it's not the pshat, but please don't sue me. See the guy sitting opposite David with the green sweatshirt? Ask him the date of birth of Moshe. I didn't want to say his name. The baby. You don't know. You didn't hear anything, did you? Zayin Adar. Very interesting. And now ask him a mathematical question. From Zayin Adar to hide him 3 months, what date do we come to? It wasn't a leap year, just one Adar. Here's question? Yes, is it a leap year? He's just trying to get out of the answer. You agree with him? Vav Be'iyar? Vav B'Sivan. When do the 3 months complete itself? On the date, according to the Chazal, it's not in the Torah. It comes on the 6th of Sivan. What's the significance of the 6th of Sivan? Later, what will it be, Mr. Blondie? Eitan? What will be the 6th of Sivan? Quickly. Do you remember?
No.
Asher, what will be the 6th of Sivan? The day of the giving of the Torah. The revelation of God at Sinai to the nation. The Chizkuni, one of the great Rishonim, brings this idea. The 6th of the Sivan, he's about to be saved. in years from now, 80 years from now, that date will be the date that the world's going to be saved, rescued. The 6th of Sivan. Okay? I'm going to call you up tonight 3 a.m. and ask if you remember all these dates. Okay? You don't have to write everything. Yeah? He has to write in his notebook, but you don't have to write anything. Right? You know everything by heart? I'm going to test you 1 second. You see the fluorescent light over there?
I see the floor.
What is the date Moshe was born?
Adar Zayin.
Adar Zayin. Okay. Now answer it the proper way.
Zayin Adar.
Okay, very good. Very good, very good. Okay, gentlemen, I want to know what happened. Vatitatzav pasuk dalet achoto merachok. Achoto. Again, what's not mentioned?
The name.
The name. Why is she standing in the way she's standing? Vatitatzav. Hey, you. Did you say Kriyat Shema this morning? Hashem Elokechem emet. The next word in the blessings of Shema. Hashem Elokechem emet. The next word. V'yatziv. What does yatziv mean?
Stand erect.
Stand erect. Strong, with confidence. This young girl, who according to Chazal is 6 years old, stands with confidence, erect, strength, merachok, with distance. Lide'ah, on the end of verse 4, ma ya'aselo. In other words, this young girl has taken responsibility. Responsibility. She's taking responsibility over this baby. We have yet to answer why he's called a yeled. We'll get to it in a moment. A newborn baby, 3 months old, is not called a
Yeled.
Pasuk. Hey. Vatered bat paro. Look at this. It just happens to be that morning, bathing time. Vatered bat paro. Why? What is the Torah use the word vatered, going down? Why? Geographically, why? Very good. The Nahar, the river, is lowest point, 0 height or something of that nature, right? So she goes down. Vatered bat paro lirchotz alayor. Of course, she doesn't go unaccompanied. She's an important woman, the daughter of the Pharaoh. V'na'aroteha holchot ayad ayor. She's being accompanied by her young girls that are accompanying her. Vateret hateva. She sees. Where? Betoch hasuf. Inside all the reed area where all the vegetation is. And she's curious apparently. Vatishlachet amata. Vatikacher. How many amot tall are you?
I know, I read them.
It's a good answer. How many Chaim, would you show everyone your good-looking amma? There it is. You're not threatening to hit me, are you?
No.
Okay. So, amma. Very good, Chaim. Amma. Approximately?
40.
No.
50.
Close to 50. Close to half a meter. Okay? We say usually. Not mine. Mine is very small, but 1 amma is about a half a meter. Okay? 1 amma is about half a meter. She stretches out her amata. Do you see the nikuda inside the hay? Amata. Ha'ama shela. Okay, look over here. Chananel. There's a nikuda in the hay. Amata. Ha'ama shela. Her hand. Vatikachan. She takes. What does she see? What does she see? Vatiftach. She opens up the covering. Vatireu. Again it says, Et hayeled. V'hine nar. Now the word is not even yeled, he's a nar. A nar is a
big boy.
youth. He's not a yeled, a child. He's about to be a teenager. V'hine nar boches, crying. V'tachmol alav. Apparently her mercy has taken her. She has mercy on him. V'tomer, me'aldei ha'ivrim zeh. How does she know? Question: how does she know that this is one of the Hebrew boys?
Circumcised.
Ah.
2 months old. Or maybe there was a rap, a quote.
What?
Star of David.
The baby was not wearing a golden chain or a chai or a star, right? So no. So the Rashbam, you're right. The Rashbam asked this question. First of all, let's go according to order. The fact that it's a na'ar, apparently his beauty, his completeness, his development is way, way advanced for his age of 3 months. His body was so complete, so special, just like a youth. By the way, Chazal say that he was very tall, so he was extra, extra large at birth. Okay? Further, the way he's crying, he didn't cry like a baby cries. He cries like a yeled or even a nar, so developed, so mature. Everything is unusual about this baby. From tinok to a yeled to a nar shows complete development, unusual development about this baby. And indeed, Rashi says she saw that the baby was circumcised, which was not the practice of the Egyptians. Not the practice of the Egyptians. And therefore she says, Mi aldei ha'ivrim zeh. He must be of the Hebrew boys. My dear friends, what is she going to do with the baby? After the word of mercy, we see God's providence, supervision. There's mercy being shown here. Pasuk Zayin, who intervenes? Vatomer achoto el bat paro. She comes into the picture. The daughter, the sister of this baby. Ha'elech v'karati lach isha meineked min ha'ivriot v'teinik lach et hayaled, question mark. Why is she offering the offer? What do you think is happening as Bat Paro takes this and sees this baby crying?
She's already accepting the boy as her own.
What is happening with the crying?
Emotions.
What else? I don't think the baby stopped crying. I'm assuming he's not crying. He doesn't stop. She tried, baby, baby. Nothing worked. Muchi puchi and all these kisses and all this, nothing worked. We were by one of our daughters who gave birth about 2 months ago for Shabbat. And it was Motzei Shabbat. We came back. We went to friends for Sudah Shlishit, and we came back. And the baby, my wife is helping out, and she's holding the baby, but the baby's crying in the pacifier. I said, give me the baby. I remember I was once a father, So I took the baby into my hands, and I started singing and dancing a Hasidic melody, and the baby stopped crying right away. And the baby was in my hand for like 25 minutes. And my daughter says, Abba, how do you do it? I said, I still remember what I did for you when you were crying, when you were a baby. Okay? Sometimes it happens, but here I think the baby didn't stop crying. And they don't know what to do. They're panicking. No one knows what to do. We can't help. They ordered a pacifier, it didn't work. They tried this, they tried that, it didn't work. Therefore, the sister, ha'elech, do you see the letter hey at the beginning of the verb? Ha'elech, what is the job of that letter hey?
The question.
Ha'im, very good. Ha'im, should I? Do you see it in Pasuk Zayin? Where is it? Where's the word ha'elech? Ha'elech, ha'im, elech, should I go? And call what? An isha meineket. Who do you think she's referring to?
Mother.
The mother. I'll call a Hebrew nursing mother. It could be like Chazal says, of course, that they tried bringing the baby to every nursing mother in Egypt they could find, but the baby would not only drink chalav ivri, Hebrew milk. Do you know what Hebrew milk is? Pasuk chet, the response. Vatomer labat paro, lechi, do it. Go for it. Take the baby. Vatelecha alma, alma is the expression for a young girl. Vatikra et aim hayaled. Vatomer labat paro ilichi. And now the daughter of Paro meets up with the mother. Helichi, transport this child. He's grown up like a child, even though he's only 3 months old. Veinikihu li. You're going to nurse the baby not for yourself. Li. Bat Paro wants the baby, like you said, Asher. She fell in love with the baby. God made it that there's going to be chemla. Do we know the word chemla? Do we meet up with it early in the morning? What time did you meet up with the word chemla this morning? Tell me the time, I want to know.
It's like close 6.
What did he say?
What? I didn't hear the question, sorry. Almost 6.
6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, this gentleman met up with the word chemla. Do you know why?
Yes, because he wake up.
And he said, Modeh ani lefanecha b'chemla, with love. Rabbi emunatecha, great is your love. Okay? She wants the baby, but she's willing to pay. Vani etein et tzcharech. In other words, we have a very interesting situation here. The baby's been saved. Hashem's divine supervision over this baby, that the Bat Paro wants this baby. And that means she may be causing problems, adopting a baby and bringing it into the palace. But right now, the baby has to be nursed. Nursing is not one day, not 1 month, and not 1 year. It could be for years. And I'm willing to pay. And what does the mother do? Vatikach ha'isha hayeled vatinikeu. Wow. Wow. How long does she nurse him? Pasuk Yud. Vayigdal hayeled. Let's ask ourselves, when is Vayigdal hayeled? Maybe 3 years old. A woman stops nursing an infant at the age of 3. Okay? Again, otherwise, like a monkey, the baby's going to fly on top of the mother to nurse. No, usually they stop at the age of 3. My dear friends, the Gemara says in Masechet Shabbat, at the age of 3 already, if I'm not mistaken, this baby was 10 amot. How many meters is 10 amot?
2.5 meters.
5 meters, approximately.
Yeah.
How tall is this ceiling?
3 meters.
It's about 3 meters. So he's 5 meters.
Wow.
You want him as a center on your team, don't you? Huh? 5 meters. Imagine. And let's say he's not yet 5 meters, but he's about to be. He's gigantic. He's a gadol. Vativiel levat paro, vayila leven. Bat Paro treats his baby like a ben. Furthermore, we talked about calling names. There's no names mentioned here. Vatikra shemo Moshe. Vatomer ki min hamayim mishitihu. Do you all understand the name or not? Where is our black marker?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Let's start from here. Have you heard of the Naval Commando Unit? Shayetet. Shayetet. The verb is limshot. No, actually, the verb from shed is lashut, to sail in the water, to go in the water is lashut. So it's not really from this word, it's a mistake. Limshot is to draw up out of the water. The Sforno asks an amazing, is that Sforno? Yeah. The Sforno asks an amazing question. No, it's not the Sforno, but it's after learning the Sforno. One of my colleagues, Rabbi Shimon ben Elisha from Beit El, he brought this point out, and we got to this understanding together. Limshot, look, I can call the Naval Guard. Naval Guard, there's someone about to drown in the water. Would you please go? And limshototo, to draw him up out of the water. What is Moshe called here? What's his name? Moshe. What should have been called? Mashui. Mashui. What is mashui? Drawn out of the water. Was he drawn out of the water? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why is it that he's not called Mashui? He should have been called Mashui, that he was drawn out, he was rescued out of the water. By the way, this is the rescue of someone that's being pursued, right? This is case 1 of this chapter. All the Hebrew boys are being pursued to be murdered. He's now saved by the hand of God through this woman called the Bat Paro. My friends, the Gemara says that this baby has 10 names. One of them is Avigdor, because he would make fences, gedarot, around the Torah, rabbinical fences around the Torah. He has 10 names. The Abba, the father, called him Avigdor. But here, the daughter of Paro's name stuck, stayed, remained. Of all people, of all the names this baby was called, the daughter of Paro's name, Moshe. What does it mean?
He was also called Kutiel, right?
Okay. Why is Moshe? From the word limshot, he will be rescuing others. He will be a Moshe, others out of the waters. He will be rescuing others out of dangers. Of all people that called him name, the daughter of Paro's name remained. What is it coming to teach us? Anyone that does chesed, okay? This woman did chesed. She did kindness by saving the baby, okay? The Torah is chesed. The beginning of Torah is the creation of God doing chesed. The end of the Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu passes away. Chesed is done with him, bringing him to burial. So it comes to teach us that anyone that does chesed will be rewarded. Will be rewarded. And therefore her name, Moshe, remained because his objective in the world will be to rescue others. Okay? Hu Moshe acherim min hamayim. Hu Moshe acherim me'asakana. Do you understand the usage of the verb? Mm-hmm. Therefore, he's not called Mashui, that he was rescued, he was taken out, but he will be rescuing others. Interesting. Pasuk Yud Aleph. He grows up in the palace of Paro. Vayihi bayamim hahim. The days pass. Vayigdal Moshe. Apparently he's no longer 3 years old. He is even older. Okay? And now, when we talk about that he's gadol, not only does his body grow, his nefesh becomes greater. He becomes a greater person with greater needs, spiritual needs. He will have something going on in his inner being that he'll be caring for others, an idealistic person. Vayetzei el achav. Interesting. Who are his brothers? The Hebrews. Wow. Even though he's growing up where? In the palace of Paro. Vayar besivlotam. He sees their torturing. He sees their suffering. Apparently, at bedtime or other times when he's growing up in the palace, he's being told what is his roots. That he comes from the Hebrews. That he's a Jew. It bothers him when he sees that Hebrews they're suffering. Vayar ish mitzri, makeh ish ivri me'echav. An Egyptian man, important man, apparently a VIP is an Ish, he's hitting a Hebrew guy, one of the brothers of who? There's an opinion that says that the haka'ah here, the smiting that's going on, is enough to kill the Hebrew person. And there's another opinion that it's not enough. In any event, Moshe sees suffering. Moshe is so klali, so caring for his brothers, he cannot tolerate seeing a fellow Hebrew going through suffering. What does he do? He makes a din by himself. He makes judgment by himself. And what does he do? Without a court. What does he do? Vayar ki ein ish. Ki ein ish. What do you think? Look at me. What can the term that he's looking for, and there's no man? What could be the meanings of this term?
There was no Mitzri.
There was no what?
Mitzri.
There's no mitzvah in the era? Maybe. What else?
No witness.
There's no witnesses. What else? Hey, Gever.
No, Ivrim.
Yeah.
Explain.
Uh,
What do you mean? There's no fellow Hebrew. To do what?
to help them.
To rescue this fellow Jew. There's no Hebrew. One of the great Achronim Ketava Kabbalah explains. There's no Gever here that's standing up to save this Hebrew that's being hit. Therefore, what do our sages tell us in Pirkei Avot? B'makom she'ein ish hishtadel liot ish. In a place where there's no,
Man.
you be the man. You do the saving and rescuing. So all the explanations that you gave are all correct. There's no witness, there's no one watching this. There's no fellow Hebrew that's willing to stand up. What does this show for the Jewish people? We began becoming a people, as the Paro called us, an Am. But the fact of the matter is that there's no sense of responsibility. There's no guarantorship. There's no being consolidated together. No one standing up to help us. Our situation is batata. Terrible. Do you know that term?
Yeah.
You hear this, Eitan? The situation is terrible. Yeah. Let me ask you something. If you were there in Mitzrayim, would you do something? Uh-oh. You're thinking too long.
Maybe, yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. Okay? Would you allow a fellow Hebrew to be hit like this?
No. I'd like to think I wouldn't.
That's it. So keep on thinking that way, and then it'll produce results. My friend, Pasuk Yud Bet Vayifen Kol V'cho. He looks in both directions. Vayar ki einish. In a deeper sense, he sees, as Rashi says, no one from this Egyptian will do conversion. No great person will come out of this Egyptian, Rashi says, that'll do Gior. And therefore, what does he do? Vayach et ha-Mitzri. No one's clapping?
Just killed him on the spot, like.
Wow.
He's a 5 meter tall.
Vayitm. He kills him, he hits him. Apparently, Moshe Rabbeinu is so big. And his fists are so great and strong, according to the Pshat. Or spiritually, his strength is so great already. Vayitmaneu b'chol. He buries him, he hides him inside the chol. Gentlemen, after Moshe being saved, we're learning about Hatzalat HaNirdaf, the rescuing of the victim, the rescuing of someone that's being hit. Moshe Rabbeinu cannot tolerate the lack of justice. He cannot see a crime being done here without reacting. And now we're about to see all together 3 events where the Nirdaf is being rescued. Here is number 1. Number 2, Pasuk Yud Gimel. Vayetze bayom hasheni. He goes out a second time. Goes on a hike. V'hinei, surprise. Shnei anashim ivrim nitzim. There are 2 Hebrews that are feuding. Usually a feud, nitzim, is something where no compromise can be reached. Vayomer la rasha. And Moshe says to the evil guy, Lama takereacha. We didn't see anything that he's hitting him. So why is Moshe reaching conclusions? What are you hitting your friend? Answer?
Verbal.
He's raising his hand to hit him. Kol hamirim yad al Yehudi nikra rasha. The Talmud says, if you raise your hand, not even hit him, on a fellow Jew, you're called a rasha. Therefore, Moshe calls him a wicked guy. Okay, even though he didn't hit him. That's how Rashi explains. And now they come back at him. At Moshe, Pasuk Yudalad, verse 14. Vayomer misam chaliish sar v'shofet eleinu. Did you get an appointment to be a minister or a judge upon us? Who do you think you are? Halorgeni atomer. Are you going to kill me? Are you saying? Kasher haraktet ha-Mitzri. Uh-oh. Word got out. Are you going to kill me like You killed the Egyptian? How did they know? Someone bad-mouthed. Vayira Moshe Vayomar. Moshe is now fearful and saying, to who is he saying this?
Himself.
Maybe to himself. Achei noda davar. Uh-oh. Noda davar. Rashi brings through a midrash an additional meaning that not only is the word gotten out, that he was surprised. He's been analyzing the national situation of the Hebrews. Okay? How is it that these Jewish people are under such torture, under such problems? What did they sin? Why are they, of all nations on the planet of earth, why are they subject to all this pain? Now I know. Moshe is saying, there's tattletalers. There are people that spill the beans. There are people that hilshinu alav. People, they told the truth, but they got him in trouble. Now, what do you think could happen to a Moshe inside the Egyptian empire if it's found out that he killed an Egyptian? What might be done to him? To be death. Right now, it's time to put his New Balance sneakers on his feet and run as fast as possible. Let's read. Pasuk Tedva Vayishma Paro et hadavar hazeh. Paro hears. Vayivakesh larog et Moshe. Paro says, there's a all points bulletin in APB. They have a picture of Moshe. They put it up in every town, every city. Anyone that finds this person will be rewarded. And Moshe therefore has no choice but to leave. Vayivrach Moshe mipnei Paro. Only because of Paro's decree. Vayeshev, he goes to a neighborly country. We'll talk about it in a moment. Be'eretz Midyan. Vayeshev ala be'er. Why is it important that he's sitting next to a be'er? But first, gentlemen, what did I want to bring here? He escapes. He has no other choice. And he goes to Eretz Midyan. Now, in later times, we think of Midyan south of the Gulf of Aqaba, okay, towards Saudi Arabia. But it could be that the Midianites are nomadic. And maybe during this time, they are somewhere in the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, the Sinai Peninsula. And that's maybe as close as possible, but a different country, to save himself. And here he decides to go to Midyan. Like we said, usually Midyan we think of east of the Eilat Peninsula. But during the time of Moshe, they're also living west of the Red Sea, next to the Sinai Peninsula. Vayeshev ala be'er. Be'er. What did we learn about in Chumash Bereshit? Be'er.
It's the best place for find a wife.
It's the best place to find a wife. You learned that from
With Eliezer.
Eliezer, Yitzchak, for Yitzchak, and for Yaakov. Now, I want to say the following. We're going to learn that he's about 80 years old. It doesn't go work out well that he was a young boy, maybe a teenager, and what happened to these 60 years? We have Midrashim that he went down to Africa, to Kush and other places, and he became a leader. He's a leader. He's born that way. Those are the innate character traits inside him. Leadership, responsibility, caring for anyone and everyone. He cares for everyone, okay? And he became a leader. And now things arrived that he's now in the Midyan area. Let's go on. Pasuk Tet Zayin. Ulechohein Midyan Sheva Banot. Apparently, like you said, Thomas, talking about girls getting married. There's a guy in Midyan. So too here his name is not mentioned because we're dealing right now with Klal Yisrael matters. And he's a Kohen. What does it mean that he's a Kohen? He's made himself a Kohen, meaning He's interested in serving God. We're talking about, the Midrash says, someone that knows every god in the books. Idolatry. He's tried everything in the books, and then he decided to give everything up. He threw it out. And he's discovering maybe a one God in the world. And for that, he is not only reprimanded by his fellow people, he is chastised. He is discriminated against. He doesn't get along with it. No one gets along with him. He's in Cherem. He's excommunicated. And he happens to have 7 girls. What is this, a history book? I have to know how many children he has? Give me a break. We're about to learn that number 7 will be Mrs. Moshe. So what? Why does that answer the question? The Midrash says all 7s are holy. The 7th day of the week, the 7th month, Tishrei has all the holidays. The 7th year, so too the 7th girl. In this family, she is special. She is someone that has the spiritual qualities and material qualities to contain, to activate a Moshe, to be a leader of Klal Yisrael. These girls are taking care of the father's sheep. Vatavona vatidlena. The girls come, lidlot. Tell the truth. Do you use a bucket every Yom Shishi to clean your room?
No.
Let me ask someone else something.
My room is too.
Yeah. So, you use a dili?
Dili?
A dili? Lidlot mayim? A dili is a bucket. Lidlot mayim. What are the girls doing here? Vatidlena. Okay? They are raising up water from the be'er. Okay? And Vatimalena taratim. They fill up the areas where the animals drink from. Lashkot sonaviyah. Okay? Now, who comes along? Vayavo haro'im. Literally meaning shepherds, but maybe these people are ra'im. Don't read the word ro'im. Read the word ra'im. These are terrible people. And what do they do, these bullies? Vayigarshum. Didn't they learn in Sunday school and with the Baptists that you shouldn't chase girls away from the bear? Apparently they didn't learn in Sunday school. They didn't listen. Anyway, they have reason. Let's talk about the real reason why they're chasing the girls away. Because their father, the father of these girls, left their idolatry, left their avodah zarah, and he is in a state of nidui, cherem. He's excommunicated. No one buy or sell to this guy. No one talk to him. If you see the girls out there, chase them away. Vayakom Moshe. Moshe sees this injustice. Injustice number 3. That's correct. Number 3 of this chapter, right? Number 1, the first injustice he saw was an Egyptian hitting Ivri. Injustice number 2, he saw 2 Ivrim hitting one another. And now we see amongst the Midianites, men of Midian apparently are doing an injustice to these girls. Moshe Rabbeinu, why do you think the Torah decides to describe 3 cases of injustice where the theme, as I learned from my father, Rabbi Horowitz, is Hatzalat HaNirdaf, the rescuing of the victim? What is new in each case that we didn't see in the first case?
A new entity.
What novelty do we see in injustice number 2 and 3 that we didn't see in injustice number 1? Don't think that this is something emotional that Moshe has for his fellow brothers. When he sees a non-Jew hitting a fellow Jew. When he sees even 2 Jews hitting one another, 2 Hebrews hitting one another. That's injustice. I cannot stand idle. I can't sit still. I must intervene. The world has to become better. And don't think that when it's between only two Hebrews. Here he sees Gentiles, Midianites, doing an injustice to one another. Come, young men or whatever, bullies, and they chase away the girls that are simply doing their job to bring water for their father's sheep. So you see what type of person the nefesh of Moshe is. Things have to be done right. There must be justice in this world. People cannot suffer and be torn apart, even if it's not a fellow Hebrew. Even if it's not a fellow Hebrew, Moshe cares. He's going to be a Klal Yisraeli person. And as you know, we just don't care for ourselves. We care for the world because the entire world is godly. I want to see what happens with these events. Vayakom Moshe Vayoshian. He saves them. What is the nun doing at the end of the verb Vayoshian? The nun sofit, you see it? Mm-hmm. What is that suffix, the nun sofit, doing at the end of the word Vayoshian, David?
It's like it's like them.
It's like what?
It's like them.
Them.
The female them.
Very good. The female them. Vayoshia otan. Very good. He saves them.
Oh, okay.
Now, after he saves them, vayashket zonam. Wow. He's really a super duper person. I know it's traumatic, right? I'll take care of it right now. I'll water the sheep. The girls come running home to their father. Vatavona el Reuel avihem. Now we know the father. His name is? In this time he's called Reuel. Next time he's going to be called? There you go. Vatavona Reuel avihem vayomer. Madua mihartem boy. Why have you come home so early? Usually you come home later. You have to do the job. Vatomarna ish mitzri yitzilanu miyad haroim. V'gam dalo dala lanu vayashket atzon. What do the girls disclose to the Abba? Number one, who saved us?
Egyptian men.
From who did he save us?
From
The shepherds. And thirdly, what did this Egyptian man do?
Water the sheep.
Wow. He raised up the water and then he watered the sheep. I want to go to the Bureau of Statistics. Where's my eyeglasses? I can't see everyone yet. Renan. I know you're there. Do you take objection to calling this Moshe an Ish Mitzri? Do you take an objection here, sir? He's called an Ish Mitzri. Yeah. No, the girls come running home. Abba, an Ish Mitzri saved us from the shepherds. Question number one, how do they know he's an Ish Mitzri? And number two, do you take any objection to that? Speak up, sir, I can't hear you.
I do take it. He's not a Mitzri.
He's what? He's an Ivri. Good question.
And maybe his clothes.
He's what? His clothing. Interesting answer. You had an answer as well, Ravid. Mr. Kolvine.
Maybe the accent of the language, maybe?
He speaks like an Egyptian. Very good. My dear friends, famous Midrash, Breshit Rabbah. Ken Breshit Rabbah. Yosef hoda be'artzo, nikbar be'artzo. Moshe shelo hoda be'artzo, lo nikbar be'artzo. Explain, Thomas, my good Hebrew.
It's like when he's finding in...
No, from the beginning. Yosef hoda be'artzo, nikbar be'artzo. Moshe shelo hoda be'artzo, lo nikbar be'artzo.
Yosef was...
Hoda. What is lahodot?
It was gratefulness. It's like a thank
Admitted. What did he admit to?
you.
He said in the dungeon, I'm in Ivri. I belong to the land of the Hebrews. And therefore, what did Yosef merit? He's buried in Eretz Yisrael because he admitted to his own land. But the Midrash says, Moshe did not admit to his land. Was he buried in the land of Israel? Now let's go to Ranan. He's called in the text here an Ish Mitzri. Clothing. Maybe. How do you do? Shalom. My name is Moshe, and I'm a Mitzri. Is he telling the truth?
No.
Was he born in downtown Mitzrayim local hospital?
Yes.
You know what I'm doing. You know what I mean. He was born in Mitzrayim. Isn't he telling the truth? I'm a Mitzri. I grew up in Mitzrayim. I'm wearing it. I'm a Mitzri. You know what? Even if he's telling the truth, you're not supposed to say that. According to this Midrash, the fact that he did not admit that I'm an Ivri and I belong to Eretz HaIvrim, and the Admor from Peshischa, one of the great Admorim in Chassidut, if I'm not mistaken, he's the one that explains this. Rav Tzhuda would bring him and say the following. With this, we'll end today's shiur. He says the following: every Jew, no matter where he's born, should say, I belong to Eretz Yisrael. Every Jew. That's what the Admor Peshischa explains on that famous Midrash. Yosef that admitted to his land was granted burial. Moshe did not admit, and this is the source. But he's telling the truth. Doesn't make a difference. Even if you're not born, if you're born in a weird place like Brooklyn or something like that, you should always say, I belong to Eretz Yisrael. Okay? I belong to Eretz Yisrael. Gentlemen, when the father hears this story of saving, Hatzalat HaNirdaf, Vayomer Benotav Ve'ayo, where is he? Lama zazavtem et ha'ish. Manners. Someone saves your life, helps you out, come have breakfast. Invite him in. Kirenlo, call him, invite him. V'yochal lachem, and let him eat. So lechem is a term for a meal as well. Okay? It's not present bread and water. It's more, right? Okay? Pasuk Kaf Aleph Vayoel Moshe Vayoel. His scheme, he agrees. Lashevet et ha'ish, et means im ha'ish. Mazal tov, he gets awarded Vayitein et tzipoa vito leMoshe, and then a year later, Gershom is born. We'll continue Be'ezrat Hashem this shiur, God willing, with the last few psukim, and then, God willing, learn about the appearance of the sneh